Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles the Bands, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We'll cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Folks, today we have some serious drama. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. As you guys know, the Olympics is currently underway, and whenever the Olympics come around, there's going to be a range of different sports that are taking place. Various countries around the world competing for gold medals, silver medals, and bronze medals, right? Exciting period for people that follow sports. But yesterday, there was some serious controversy that ensued. And it was during a female boxing match between Angela Carini, who was an Italian, and of course, the other fighter was Imane Khelif. I hope I pronounced her name properly, right? Now, before we even get into that, let me just quickly read who is Imane Khelif, the Algerian Olympic boxer who failed an gender eligibility test, right? I just want to quickly read a little bit of this from the independent.co.uk. Imane Khelif is scheduled to fight at the Paris Olympics on Saturday, 2 days after a controversial boxing match with Angela Carini. On Thursday, Italy's Carini quit just 46 seconds into her round of 16 bout with Khelif after the Algerian landed one significant punch. Last year, Khelif was disqualified from the Women's World Championship in New Delhi for failing a gender eligibility test. At the same tournament, Taiwan Lin Yu Ting was also disqualified for failing to meet the gender eligibility criteria of the International Boxing Association. Lin due to compete on on August the 2nd. So that's just a quick preview, or background rather, of who she is. So what happened this morning? I was going through the internet and I came across an audio from Nightcap featuring Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon Sharpe was actually discussing this issue. Now, if you know anything about Shannon Sharpe, he's a former NFL Hall of Famer, so he's an athlete as well. So he can understand things at a much deeper level than most of us watching this content, because he played at a professional elite level, so he has a different viewpoint. So when I clicked on his show to hear what he had to say, I gotta say I was very surprised at the level of passion that he was speaking with, but also I was surprised at how much conviction he was showing in this particular position. Now, I don't want to spoil it for you. So what we would like to do now is we'd like to play exactly what Shannon Sharpe had to say about this global Olympic controversy. And then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts on the situation. Take a listen to Shannon Sharpe here.
Won her first match of the Paris 2024 Olympics when her opponent, Angela Carini of Italy, quit after taking several blows to the face in the opening round of the bout. The victory was few misguided controversy around Khelif, who's been targeted by critics and has been misgendered her throughout the games. Khelif's participation in the women's boxing has been scrutinized in recent days after reports resurfaced that she failed to meet gender eligibility tests of the Women's World Boxing Championships in New Delhi last year. At the time, sporting officials alleged that the boxer failed to an unspecified test because they had male chromosomes. Khelif was born a woman and has always competed as a woman. See, Ocho, look.
But you got me confused now. You got me confused because you said a whole lot of everything, but to me, it's
she was born a woman. She was born a woman.
She was.
Here's the thing. I don't know if you watch it, but when they bring these doctors, because right now there's a lot of transgender people are trying to get right. And when they bring these people to Capitol Hill and these senators and these representatives on the other side, when they ask doctors very specific questions. Doctor, I want to ask you one thing. Can this person that you're talking about, can they have a child? Can this woman have a child? Yes, she can. Does this woman have a period? Yes, she does. So how is she not a woman? Biologically and anatomically, how is she not a woman? Now, the problem that I have, this is a very similar situation.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know if you followed it.
I haven't. That's why you got me a little confused now.
How about this? There was a young lady from South Africa. Her name was Caster Semenya. She was born a woman.
Right.
But her body produces high levels of testosterone.
Okay.
What they wanted her to do in order to compete against women, they wanted her to take blockers to block it. So you don't want me to take things to help me win.
Right.
Which is PEDs, but you want me to ingest something into my body to suppress what God has made me. You said God made everybody always say, Ocho, they say God made you man and woman.
Woman, yes, sir.
Okay. He made her like this. So in order for you to compete, I need you. No, I'm not. Right. Every man doesn't have the same level of testosterone. But if he's born with those parts, is he any less of a man? So because if a woman is born with those parts and she produces a higher level of testosterone, does that make her any less of a woman?
Right.
I'm asking, what do you think?
No.
Because for the longest time, can she conceive a child? Does she have a period? That's all.
Yes. That's all that matters. Simple. Right.
I don't want to get into all of this and what she chose to identify as.
That's where you're. I'm kind of confused now. She's
not identifying as a woman. God gave her those parts.
So
she got
Imane,
that's the car case. You know, Ocho, you like cars, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You ever watch Meekum? You ever watch Barrett Jackson? They say this car has the original parts.
Right.
The original parts car is worth more.
Right.
This Khelif. Those are her original parts. Nothing has been added. Nothing has been taken away.
So Imane Khelif is a woman then?
She's a woman.
Oh, okay. No problem. Because on Twitter, I've been seeing all the clips with the boxer, and they say the person that was in the ring was transgender and was a man.
They said the same thing about Caster Semenya. Because her body, I think she was born with an extra chromosome, which allows her body to produce more testosterone than the average female body will produce.
Okay.
But guess what, Ocho? She can still, the question that they always ask, and I know you've heard it, can she conceive a child? And does she have a period?
Okay.
Does that not make you female?
Right.
Does that not make you woman? I thought the ability to reproduce is what separated us. So now it doesn't. I'm just trying to figure out, because her body produces more testosterone, that does not make her any less of a woman if she has and I'm not trying to be graphic, but if she has female parts, she's a woman.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say there. I want to be crystal clear with the audience. I did not know much of any of this story. I didn't have any of this background information up until this morning, right? So I think it's important that I say that I don't have all the information. I'm not a savant when it comes to discussing these type of things. But nevertheless, it's a sports story. It's an important story. It's getting a lot of attention. And I don't think that we should shy away from controversial topics if we feel like we can lend a voice to it. So you heard what he had to say. According to what he had to say, she's a woman, right? She's a woman. She can have babies and the rest. So if she's a woman, then technically she's within the parameters to compete. Now, if she has more, I think what's the word to use, chromosomes than a normal woman, I hope I'm using the right terminology, then that's a different thing. But she is a woman. He also brought up an interesting point, which is the following. He said, I can understand if you're telling me to take things to enhance my performance, in this case, performance enhancing drugs. But if you're taking things to reduce my performance to level the playing field, he said, then we then have a problem. We then have a problem. Now, this is a very, very tricky situation. I don't live in the States. I haven't lived in the States for a very long time. I will be moving back to the States early next year. But I've kind of been aware of this conversation. This conversation has been taking place in the United States from afar over the last year or two, right? It's not something that I pay much attention to because it's just not on my radar on a day-to-day basis. I don't think about it as much, but I think that when I do come back to the States, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be hearing a lot more about this. But there are a lot of people that are upset at this result, if I'm being honest with you, because the news first came across my desk this morning. What is it? From a New York Post. What is it? From a New York Post Instagram post. And I want to see if I can actually find it. Let me see. New York Post Instagram, because I was reading the comments and people were pretty upset, right? They were upset at this result because I was actually going through the comments. So let me show you. We want to show you what the post said. We're going to put it up for you now. It says, New York Post, sting like a he. Olympic scandal as male testing boxer pummels female in just 46 seconds below the belt. It then says, Imane Khelif, an Algerian boxer who failed gender eligibility test in 2023, yet was nonetheless allowed to compete as a woman at this year's Olympics, hit her first round opponent so hard that she had to withdraw. She withdrew in just 46 seconds. Now I want to read some of the comments that people left under the post. It goes, imagine a woman training all her life for these Olympics just to be beaten by a man. Stop this absolute nonsense. Wow. Another person said, he's a man. Just look at his jaw. Another person said, where are all the liberal feminists now? Another person said, all the headlines make you think it's a trans woman, but it's not. It's clickbait, but no one actually reads the story. This is not a trans woman in sports story. It's a chromosome story. Another person said, keep voting for those blue liberal policies, and this is what you get. Trump 2024. Another person said, disqualify him. Not fair. Another person said, Democrats' agenda. So it's a highly contentious matter, but based on the information I have, it's a woman. It's a woman. I guess she just has one more chromosome than, I guess, a normal woman. So it's a woman, right? It's a woman. And therefore, if she is a woman, which according to what I've read, she is, then she should be allowed to compete. She should be allowed to compete. Whether or not you feel like, oh, well, it's not a woman, it's irrelevant. She is a woman, according to what I know. Now, if I'm wrong, then I stand to be corrected, right? I stand to be corrected. If you can present some evidence that says otherwise, then I'll stand up and say, hey, look, I was wrong. Shouldn't have said that. But based on the information that we have, she's a woman, right? So I guess that's the reason ultimately she was allowed to compete, right? I guess that was the reason she was ultimately allowed to compete. On a side note, though, however, are people saying that she shouldn't be able to compete because she has a physical advantage over her opponent, so therefore she shouldn't be allowed to be able to compete, even though she's within the parameters? Because it makes me think, and this is obviously probably most likely different. I just, you know what? Let me not say what I was about to say. I could be wrong. I don't want to go in a totally different direction. Those are my thoughts on the story. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you all in the next show. Peace.